My name is Natalie Whitmore. I'm 37 years old, and until 3 weeks ago, I believed I was in a stable, grown-up marriage, the kind people stop questioning once enough anniversaries stack up, the kind that doesn't invite concern or pity, the kind that looks boring from the outside and feels safe on the inside. It wasn't passionate or dramatic. It didn't have screaming matches or slammed doors. It just existed, quietly, reliably, like a structure you trust not to collapse because it never has before. Until it did. I came home on a Wednesday evening at exactly 6:30 p.m., same time as always. I remember glancing at the microwave clock as I dropped my bag by the door, the familiar routine already running in my head, shoes off, keys in the bowl, a quick check of my phone before heading into the kitchen. The house was dark. No lights glowing softly in the hallway, no music drifting in from the kitchen speaker the way Daniel usually played jazz when he got home before me. His car wasn't in the driveway. That alone didn't alarm me. He'd been working late a lot lately, or so he said. Meetings, deadlines, projects that always seemed to come up last minute. I told myself that was normal. I reheated leftovers, standing at the counter scrolling through emails while the microwave hummed, ate half a container of pasta without tasting it, folded laundry in front of the TV, my hands moving automatically while my eyes barely registered the screen. This was what stability looked like, muscle memory, habits so well worn they didn't require thought. At 9:00 p.m., I sent a casual text. "What time are you coming home?" No response. By 11 o'clock, annoyance crept in. By midnight, worry replaced it. I called him. Once, twice, 4 times total. Straight to voicemail every time. At 1:47 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text message. "You'll hear from my lawyer only. Consider us done." I stared at the screen, not blinking, not breathing, just staring. I read it again, and again, and again, waiting for my brain to rearrange the words into something else, something reasonable, something human. There was no explanation, no warning, no conversation, just done. I called him immediately. Voicemail. Again. I texted back. "What the hell is this? What's going on?" 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "I've been unhappy for a long time. I can't do this anymore. My lawyer will contact you about division of assets." That was it. 6 years of marriage ended by 2 text messages just before 2 in the morning. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. I sat on the couch we'd picked out together 3 years earlier. In the living room we'd painted ourselves, and tried to identify the exact moment my life had quietly split in half. Had there been signs? He'd been distant, short-tempered, protective of his phone. 3 weeks earlier, he'd changed his passcode without mentioning it. When I asked, he said I was imagining things, that I was stressed, that I needed to stop reading into everything. I'd believed him. By morning, the shock burned off. What replaced it wasn't sadness. It was something colder, sharper, clearer. If he wanted done, we'd be done. But not on his terms alone. At 8:01 a.m., the moment the bank opened, I called. I froze our joint checking account, our joint savings. I removed him as an authorized user on my credit cards. I'd been the primary earner throughout our marriage. I worked in finance, made nearly triple his income. Most of the accounts were in my name, with him added later. The bank representative hesitated. "Is there some kind of emergency?" "My marriage just ended," I said evenly. "I need to protect my assets." She didn't ask another question. Next, I called our. I removed him from my health insurance, life insurance, and every beneficiary designation, effective immediately. The woman on the line spoke gently, offered resources, asked if I was safe. "I'm fine," I said. "Just make the changes." I still took the day off work. I called the best divorce attorney I knew by reputation. Her retainer fee made my stomach tighten. I paid it without hesitation. At 2:00 p.m., I sat across from her in a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows and told her everything. She read the text messages carefully, then looked up at me. "No warning?" she asked. "None." "And you froze the accounts?" "All of them." She smiled, just slightly. That was very smart. When I left her office, I didn't feel better. But I felt prepared. That evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "What the hell did you do?" Daniel's voice burst through the line, shaking with fury. "I secured our assets pending legal proceedings," I said calmly, "like your text indicated." "You froze me out of everything," he snapped. "My card got declined at the grocery store." "Yes. My rent is due." I paused. "Your rent?" Silence. "You already have an apartment?" I asked. This isn't what it sounds like." "Actually," I said, "it sounds exactly like what my lawyer warned me about." He started yelling then, about humiliation, about insurance, about how cruel I was being. I listened until he ran out of breath. "You ended this marriage," I said. "I'm responding." He hung up. That night, I slept for the first time since 1:47 a.m., not peacefully, but decisively. The next few days passed in a strange imitation of normal life. Meetings, emails, deadlines, people discussing quarterly projections while my entire reality had detonated quietly in the middle of the week. At night, I came home to a house that still smelled like him, his shoes by the door, his jacket on the hook, his chipped coffee mug in the sink like he might come back for it. I didn't touch anything. By Friday morning, I noticed absences, his laptop, his watch, a duffel bag I'd never seen before. He'd been back. The security cameras confirmed it. Thursday, 2:14 p.m. Daniel walked in carefully, quietly, collecting what he wanted like a thief who still believed he belonged. I shut the app and sat there, breathing through the pressure building behind my eyes. That night, another unknown number called. A woman's voice. "Natalie, my name is Lauren." She told me everything. And when the photos came through, page after page of hidden transfers, nearly $40,000 siphoned away, I forwarded them to my lawyer with a single line. Evidence of financial misconduct. And for the first time since that Wednesday night, I felt something shift. Not grief. Momentum. A fair partner willing to testify. Call me ASAP. I sent the text and set my phone face down on the table. My hands were steady. That surprised me. 3 days earlier, I'd been shaking over a single message sent at 1:47 a.m. Now I felt aligned, focused. She called back in 10 minutes. "This is very good," my lawyer said without preamble. "Very good for us." I leaned back in my chair, phone pressed to my ear, and stared at the blank stretch of wall across the dining room. And for the first time since that night, something clicked into place with absolute clarity. Daniel hadn't panicked. He'd planned. Every lie, every transfer, every excuse, the timing of his exit, the apartment, the story he fed Lauren, even the cruelty of ending our marriage by text. It hadn't been impulsive. It had been efficient. My lawyer moved faster than I expected. By noon, she'd filed an emergency motion requesting an immediate freeze on any remaining marital funds and a court order compelling Daniel to disclose every account in his name, whether he claimed it was personal or not. "This isn't just infidelity," she told me later. "This is financial misconduct, possibly fraud." The word landed heavier than I expected. Fraud wasn't emotional. It wasn't messy or ambiguous. Fraud meant intent, planning, awareness. It meant he knew exactly what he was doing, and did it anyway. I sat at the dining table with my laptop open, scrolling through the statements Lauren had sent me, again and again and again. I kept thinking repetition would numb it. It didn't. The pattern was meticulous, amounts small enough to avoid triggering alerts, transfers timed precisely after my paycheck cleared, an account I'd never noticed because I'd never had reason to suspect the person I shared a bed with. 5 months. 5 months of dinners together, weekend errands, conversations about paint colors and vacation plans. 5 months of lying directly to my face while quietly draining money I earned. At 3:17 p.m., my phone buzzed. "Daniel, we need to talk in person." I didn't reply. 10 minutes later. "Daniel, this is getting out of hand." That one made me laugh, a short, sharp sound that startled me. At 4:02 p.m., the front door opened. I hadn't invited him. I was already sitting in the living room, phone in my hand, my lawyer on standby, exactly where I'd placed myself when I imagined this moment. Not pacing, not hiding, waiting. Daniel froze when he saw me. He looked wrecked. Same clothes from Wednesday night, wrinkled, stained. His hair was greasy. His face hollowed out by dark circles. The confidence he'd worn like armor for years was gone. Stripped clean. "We need to talk," he said, this time quieter. "Your lawyer should contact mine," I replied. "Forget the lawyers," he snapped. "I made a mistake." I tilted my head slightly. "You made dozens of mistakes," I said, "over months." He stopped breathing for a moment. "How do you?" "Lauren called me." The color drained from his face so fast it was almost clinical. "She told me everything," I continued calmly. "The affair, the fake divorce papers, the apartment, the money." His legs seemed to give out. He sank onto the couch across from me, elbows on his knees, hands gripping his hair. "This is such a mess," he muttered. "You made it a mess. I didn't mean for any of this to happen." He rushed out. "It just spiraled. I met her at a conference last spring. She paid attention to me. You were always busy, always working. I felt invisible." I stood. "Do not," I said quietly, "try to turn my career into your justification." He looked up at me, startled by the tone more than the words. "You cheated. You stole nearly $40,000. You rented an apartment using marital funds. You lied to me. You lied to her. This didn't spiral. You planned it." "I was going to give the money back," he said desperately. "No," I said. "You hid it so you'd have a cushion when you left. I have the statements." His mouth opened, closed. "Lauren also sent me your messages," I added, "where you talked about taking the house, about making me look unstable, controlling." He stared at the carpet. "She promised she'd help me start over," he whispered. "She said she understood me." "She didn't know you were married," I said. "You manipulated her, too." His shoulders collapsed inward. "She kicked me out," he said. "I don't have anywhere to go." I felt nothing, not satisfaction, not anger, just distance. "That's not my problem. We can fix this," he said suddenly, eyes wide with hope. "Counseling. I'll quit my job. I'll do anything." "No," I said. "You don't get to negotiate after betrayal." He stood abruptly, anger flaring. "You're enjoying this," he accused, "watching me fall apart." "I'm surviving something you did to me," I replied evenly. "There's a difference." "I'll tell people you were controlling," he snapped. "That I was scared of you." I smiled. It surprised both of us. "I have 6 years of texts," I said. "Emails, photos, witnesses, Lauren's sworn statement, bank records, and the lease for your secret apartment." I stepped closer. "Try it." Something shifted in his eyes then. Fear. "I need some of my things," he said quietly. "You have 1 hour," I replied. "Leave the key on the counter." I listened as he dismantled his life upstairs, drawers opening, hangers scraping, the quiet thud of memories being packed away. 40 minutes later, he came down with 2 suitcases. "I am sorry," he said at the door. "I did love you." "You made choices," I said. "Own them." He left. I locked the door. And for the first time since the marriage ended, the house was truly mine. The legal process wasn't dramatic. It was procedural, relentless, designed to turn emotion into evidence. My lawyer filed first, emergency motions, asset disclosures, a dismantling of Daniel's claim that he'd left due to emotional neglect. She countered it with proof of consistency, texts, plans, photos, emails, a life that hadn't been failing, just exploited. Daniel's lawyer argued imbalance of power due to income. My lawyer slid the bank statements across the table. Systematic transfers, she said. 5 months. Hidden account. Intentional concealment. Silence followed. Lauren's sworn statement arrived 2 weeks later. Precise, unemotional, devastating. Daniel never looked at her. At mediation, 3 months later, he looked smaller, older, like someone who'd lost control of the narrative and never recovered. I didn't speak. 4 months after the text message, the divorce was finalized. He received 15% of the marital assets, nearly offset by what he'd already stolen. I kept the house, my accounts, my future. The law didn't punish him. It corrected him. I stayed in the house for a year, long enough to reclaim it. Then I sold it, bought something smaller, cleaner, mine. I traveled, I ran, I learned to enjoy silence. I dated, I learned that endings don't always mean failure. And I learned this above all else. Protecting yourself isn't cruelty. It isn't revenge. It's clarity. I sleep well now. I have a life without lies. And when everything fell apart, I handled it with integrity. That's enough.